Last one is not so, I don't think it's a long one, but serious one. The fall of the breast family. This is the biggest headache, not headache, but pain of heart to our true parents and to Heavenly Father. As you know, blessing was given here. This is the blessing point. And until this is as I mentioned, the religion. No? This is a preparation for the blessing. Even then, after the blessing, we have to go through this course. Then, if we go into the direct dominion God, the Satan cannot attack you anymore. But until that time, even the blessed family has a lot of possibility of fall or mistakes. Because there's one reason. Number one, why a blessed family can make a mistake. Number one reason, even the blessed family is still here, they're still not in the indirect dominion God. Therefore, number one, it's still immaturity. Therefore, during this period, actually, it's supposed to be 7 years. But this period is still the possibility of invasion of Satan. There is a possibility of the invasion of Satan because of immaturity. And we have to go through this course, which means way of the principle one more time. We must go through the way of the principle by fulfilling the man's responsibility. Therefore, commandment not to eat, it is still varied. Even after the blessing, the commandment not to eat, it is still varied here in this sense. That's why there must be the possibility of the mistake. Also, the blessed children also must go through, must go through the same course. Therefore, the blessed children also have the possibility of fall. Therefore, not only a fall or mistake of the blessed family, blessed husband and wife, but also blessed children also must be protected very well. That's a very important aspect of the blessed family. If once fall occurs in the children, it's even more serious. Maybe for you, it's not a big issue as of now because most of you don't have children yet, even didn't start family yet. But still, at least it may be important to understand clearly. Then this is one reason why even after the blessing, there might be the possibility of the fall. And number two is during this period of preparation for the blessing, actually, lot of things must have been solved. In other words, must have been total pure offering, and no condition through which there should be there should be no condition through which Satan could invade. But actually, no one could fulfill that content before the blessing. In other words, no one was free from the Satan's attack before the blessing, because we still had a lot of conditions through which Satan could invade. That in the past made a lot of mistakes and sins and violations, and so many things. And therefore, good possibility for Satan to invade. And therefore, these sins are not eliminated in the past. Therefore, even after the blessing, Satan has the rights to invade the blessed family. Also, blessing, through the blessing, the original sin is solved. But others, which can be solved by the human effort, are not solved yet. For instance, fallen natures are not solved yet. It's man's responsibility to solve the fallen nature even after the blessing. And also, solution of original sin does not mean the ancestral, conditions are also solved. Doesn't mean so. Therefore, a blessed family still has the ancestral troubles. Therefore, sometimes the evil ancestors attack, or some evil spirit can attack the blessed family. And this kind of thing can happen. Sometimes even when child is born, a child is not normal sometimes. Occasionally, just occasionally, this kind of thing may happen because of the ancestral problems. Therefore, still, a lot of things must be solved even after the blessing. And also, one more big issue is environment is still satanic. Environment is still satanic or satanic. That's why eventually, until you can fulfill the tribal messiahship, until you can accomplish the tribal messiahship, and you can get into direct dominion of God, you are not freed from Satan's attack, even you are blessed. Now, there are many reasons like this. Then, as we know already, violation of sexual love is more serious than the violation of life, as I mentioned already, as we discussed already. There's a sins that there are many degrees of the depths of sins. One, before the joining a church, that someone might have committed the fornication or adultery before understanding the divine principle. This is one possibility. Even before the divine principle, sin is sin. It is more serious than even the killing others, more than killing others, someone. But if someone committed sin after the divine principle, it is more serious, of course. But most serious for violation of love is the fall after the blessing. Because when Father says, if someone make mistake after the blessing, it's worse than the fall of Adam. Do you know why? Because Adam and Eve fell from this point, from the top of the growth stage, and here. But a blessed family is between this top of stage and also final line of getting into the direct dominion of God. Therefore, when blessed family falls, which do you think goes deeper, Adam, Eve, or blessed family? Which goes deeper? Which? Blessed family. Blessed family will go deeper. Therefore, the depths of sin is bigger than the fall of Adam. Therefore, the fall of blessed family will give more pain to God than the fall of Adam. More sinful. And Father says even worse than Satan. Because Father says even Satan too became Satan. And actually, Archangel became Satan also at the top of growth stage. Therefore, actually, when the fall of blessed family is worse than the Satan. Therefore, Satan calls you Satan. That's Father's words. Satan will call you the Satan. Then why the fall of blessed family is so serious? The Father mentioned, Father paid indemnity for the fall of Adam and Eve and the unaccomplished mission of Jesus, the second Adam. But he did not pay the indemnity for the violation of the lineage of the third Adam. Do you know what I mean? he did not pay the indemnity for the violation of the lineage of the third Adam. Therefore, if the blessed family who are in the lineage of the third Adam committed fornication or adultery, who should take responsibility for that? Can father take responsibility for that? Yes or no? Then who takes responsibility for that? Myself. No one else. Can we take responsibility for the fall of blessed family? Even fall of Adam, even at the price of life, we couldn't solve sin. Then how is it possible to take responsibility for the fall of the blessed family? No one. No one can take responsibility. Then fallen blessed family will be under the Satan's dominion forever, under the deeper pits of hell. This is a despair of despair. This is a painful fact. This is a painful fact. Still, Father mentioned, when you're blessed and you finished the holy wine ceremony, but you didn't finish, if you did not finish the 3 days ceremony, Father can do little protection for you against Satan. Because Father can say to Satan, this person made a mistake. Because of you, Satan. Because this person received the holy wine ceremony, that's why spiritual changing of lineage was fulfilled. Still, this person, since this person did not do the 3 days ceremony yet, therefore, physical aspect still belongs to you. This is the reason this person committed mistake, committed fornication or adultery. It's your responsibility, Satan. This way, Father can protect that level of fall to some extent against Satan. But if someone make mistake after the finishing the 3 days ceremony, of course, holy wine ceremony and 3 days ceremony. If man fall, if some blessed family fall, Father has no say. Father has no say. Cannot protect. Therefore, this fallen blessed family will be completely taken over by Satan. And Satan will take over that person forever. And no possibility to come back to God. Therefore, in this sense, the fall of blessed family is this serious. When the Father was talking this kind of things, actually many years ago, already there was some mistaken breast family somewhere. Father was talking about that, and he was feeling so much pain. One time I reported the mistake of one family to Father. Father couldn't say even one word several minutes because it was too painful for him. And he said just one word. Father was thinking how to deal with this issue. How to deal with this issue. But he didn't say anything more than that. Then maybe 5 or 6 years later, we got the news that there will be the forgiveness ceremony. Forgiveness ceremony. You may know, you may not know. Maybe for you, in one sense, might be too much because it's far away. But don't forget this point. It's a very serious issue, the fall of the breast family. Fall of the breast children is so serious also. If the breast children is fallen, the lineage will be completely mess. Ancestors, descendants, everything. Of course, parents. The forgiveness ceremony means the forgiveness of the mistake of the breast family. Of course, if someone made a mistake in the breast family, first confession is necessary. Confession is necessary. If husband made a mistake, then must confess to the wife. If wife makes a mistake, must confess to the husband. And together, if the maybe partner can't forgive first, may forgive first, then together must come to some proper place and report that mistake. Then there will be given some specific guideline to receive the forgiveness ceremony. Forgiveness. Then according to the degree of the nature of mistake, also there are different degree of the indemnity condition. Someone committed sin who is outside person. Someone made mistake between husband and wife before the 3 days ceremony. Or someone made a mistake between breast family and breast family. There are many cases. Then when time comes, the forgiveness ceremony will be performed. In the past, the most recent one was performed 1995, October 13th in Korea. I think in December in America. And the father mentioned there could be two more chances. One, when the nation is restored. The second, when the world is restored. He didn't say there will be more. He did not say there will be more. Maybe the situation here is because it's just the beginning of the blessing. That's why this might not be so big issue. But just keep in your mind, this is a really serious issue. And therefore, if there is some mistaken family, they have to confess and come back to the movement. If only they come back to Father, we still have solution of forgiveness. But Father's biggest concern is those who made a mistake and who don't come back. For instance, they finished, they received the holy wine ceremony and finished 3 days ceremony and started a family and have children. Children are growing, but husband made a mistake and with some woman of outside woman and left family and joined that woman. And sometimes married over there. Divorced here and married there. Or without divorce, they're living together. Then they have a child. Do you think God can accept such a child? Never. Never. It's impossible. If breast children make mistake and have a child, it's a fearful thing. Father has a lot of pain in his heart. Father himself cannot say how he can deal with this issue. It's a big pain to God. Therefore, maybe for the Russian members, this kind of situation is not reality yet. But in Korea, in Japan, or in America, or some of the European nations, these are the real serious reality. Therefore, this is a warning. This is a warning to the Russian movement. Please keep the fidelity after the blessing. Absolutely fidelity. Faithfulness to your spouse. Is it okay with you? Is it okay with you? It's very important. And also, raising your own children right way is another very serious issue. If your spiritual your breast child make mistake, it's a mistake of the entire family. Therefore, must raise your own children right way. It's very crucial and very important. Okay, today's session is over. Are there any question? It might be difficult to say all at once. So, oh yeah. Because people must hear.
Okay, I have a question. If, for example, somebody in the blessed family, before they start their married life, commit mistake, or just let's say break the blessing and marry some other person. So
before the starting family.
Yeah, before, and marry somebody else, and what's going to be the children of such a couple?
That's a big problem.
Yeah, because I heard, I tried to ask this question, but maybe 2 times, but I didn't get clear answer. I just want to know.
It's before starting family and after the starting family, there might be some differences. Nevertheless, after the blessing, if someone leaves the movement and have a relationship with a different sexual partner and have child, there will be no way for the child to be saved. That's why Father has big pain. Father is deeply thinking about how to do with that. But Father doesn't have an answer yet. That's why I cannot say more than that. Hmm?
Such a burden, such responsibility because of the irresponsibility of the stupid parents.
I cannot say yet because Father doesn't say yet. The Father says that, of course, Satan will eventually come back to the original archangel position. But for that case, Father still doesn't have answer. I'm not saying there will be no answer forever. Someday the solution may come. Surely Father will do something with that. But as of now, Father doesn't say anything. As long as I know. That's all answer I have. This issue is that serious. Therefore, blessing is a just fantastic blessing. Through the blessing, you can have the highest joy and happiness and eternal happiness. But at the same time, if it is mistaken, it is fearful, consequence. It might bring the fearful consequence for which even Father have no absolute answer yet. Sometime I believe, but not yet. I believe sometime there could be an answer from Father. But as of now, I don't hear anything. I heard the Father's pain of heart. I heard from Father directly about that issue, how painful his heart is, and God's heart is. But Father didn't say anything about the solution. Yeah.
When you speak about mistakes after the blessing, when you speak about the fall, we know the original fall consisted of both spiritual part and physical part. Original fall when Adam and Eve fell, it consisted of both spiritual part and physical part of the fall. And I know after the blessing, many brothers and sisters, they face kind of temptations. And even, for instance, if they didn't commit physical fall, like where is this line in this mistake after which it is already, like, I don't know. You understood my question, yeah?
Yeah. For instance, what is a spiritual fall? That's sometimes misunderstood, you know. At the case of Adam and Eve, they could communicate with the spirit world directly. That's why it was very clear and was able to take responsibility. But in our case, sometimes people think that when someone had a sexual dream, that must have been a spiritual fall, or I committed sin. It's a spiritual fall. That's why I have to go to hell. Someone is so worried about that. But do you think, can you take responsibility for your dream? Can you take responsibility for your dream? Can you decide the contents of a dream by your own free will? The free will is not involved in the contents of the dream. Therefore, you don't have to take responsibility for the contents of a dream directly. But if you have such a dream, this means the warning or showing a tendency of the possibility of mistake. That's why you have to make the utmost effort to purify your own heart. It's not the spiritual fall. Spiritual fall is different. But substantially, what we are saying, mistake, it means more physical aspect. Also, even we say mistake, the substantial sexual relationship is the main point. But before going into the final point, there must be many couple of degrees. Then according to the degree, there will be the different indemnity condition. You can discuss with the blessed family about that in case of the forgiveness ceremony. Is that okay? More?
Well, maybe kind of strange question, but for example, just a question was about the spiritual fall, and can the relationship between, sexual relationship between this a spirit and a human,
Between what?
spirit
Spirit,
man and a human, can that be taken as a spiritual fall or any substantial fall? Because it's also can happen.
But at least your free will must be involved. Even if fall between Lucifer and Eve, there must be the involvement of free will. But in the dream or if the substantial free will is involved with awakened consciousness, then it is something spiritual thing. Maybe might be considered to be the physical spiritual form, but otherwise you don't have to. But you can take it as warning. But usually that kind of thing doesn't happen in our life. Yeah. Break breast family and marry outside person and go to the blessing. As the established family. I don't think father will receive it. After the breaking the breast couple, because and then find out another woman or man, and marry or without marriage, marry outside, and go to the blessing. I don't think father will take it, but I heard there might be some like that, but they will have to take responsibility in the spiritual world. It's terrible, because deceived father. Yeah. What restoration?
Changing of blood lineage.
Aye.
When a restored being or a good archangel, they're in the king position, and they should go through a good position, and then through the position of the mother of the Lord of the Second Coming, and then through the Lord of the Second Coming to his bride. What I can understand by the first part, going to Abel and through this mother, kind of difficult. What does it mean? I mean, internally, statistically, how does it feel to go through this?
This is the unity of heart. Just it's not a substantial thing. It's just unity of heart. That's enough. The condition of unity of heart is a condition to have gone through this course. Well, Mrs. Wompuche's mission is over. That's why now true mother. Yeah. Yeah.
If, for example, a blessed child, let's say the only son of the blessed couple, makes mistake, for example, gets married outside, does it absolutely mean that this is a responsibility of his parents? And does it mean that all they did before is in vain? All they did, all the foundation they made before, in their blessed life, is in vain. I mean, this blood lineage, is cut off. God's blood lineage.
Yeah, it's serious.
And what these parents should do?
I don't know.
Is it theirs responsibility? Because
Yeah,
this blessed
actually,
child has...
Yeah, that is basically the parental responsibility, because they couldn't raise children enough. But also children's responsibility. But nevertheless, if that lineage is cut, what can you do? I have no idea. Then can you take another some breast child from somewhere else as a adopted child? I don't know. I don't know this kind of case. How does father deal with this kind of issue? I don't know. I'm sorry. There's some other possibility. It's possible. That kind of situation. Yeah.
How about the blessed couples who believe in the church? Don't communicate crime or whatever. So, of course, they will have problem with the children, raise up the children in their tradition. So we say this way, but how about that? Is this a crime or
If a blessed family lives from the movement, together husband and wife, even including children, but it's not the fall yet. Therefore, if we repent and restore the faith and come back to the movement, that's enough. But unless they really repent and indemnify for that, and finally have to fulfill the responsibility of the tribal messiahship. Yeah.
You were explaining about a couple who has difficulties in the beginning, but then, like after 10 or 15 years, they are victorious. But all their children are born during this first 10 years when they were struggling. Like, what about their children? Because, like, from psychology, from everywhere, we know children, and from the critical as well, that children inherit what they see in their parents.
Yeah, there must have been some damage, from the struggle of the parents. It's inevitable. But when finally parents make breakthrough and become so happy, I think some restoration also will take place, I hope. I cannot say more than that. Yeah, Nora?
I also have many questions. So another, maybe it's a kind of question of the future. For example, last blessing, especially, there was kind of two groups of blessed couples. First, who were matched by father and blessed the church members, and another huge group of PMC couples, or even those who previously married couples.
PMC?
Previously married couples.
Previously married couple and PMCs, okay.
What's wrong? Sorry.
Where this was made? In America? Maybe in Russia.
In Russia. Sorry. So we've got used to. What's wrong?
PMC.
Sorry. It just here, Russian made. So one group of the church members who match and blessed by father and have we have kind of spiritual life, and the other group is previously married couples, and sometimes when couples who already lived together, but they were not married, but they went to blessing, received blessing, and married legally. So, okay, and the children that will come out of these two kinds of couples, for example, of kind of pure church couples, and they will inherit tradition. And church tradition, they will inherit the understanding, helpful and loved with true parents. And the children of those couples who very often just don't know what they're receiving, absolutely have no idea, but they kind of vague idea of some benediction or something, or some blessing, okay, oh, well, let's receive it, something like that, because there are people who are receiving the blessing like this. And later, when those second generation of this and that side, when they'll grow up and they'll be matched together, to receive the blessing, and one side will be having some tradition and some Hamlet tradition, and another couples, I don't think that this pro-Semitic couples, they'll stop drinking, stop doing something else, and stop their things that they've got used to do. And the children of this couple, they're blessed, and they're the second generation. They might inherit all of this. And how, I mean, they can come together with the children of these church couples. How, I'm sorry, I'm not clear in expressing that. It's just a kind of thought that is going over and over. So, so this thing of the future, but anyway.
Actually, no, someone the match the breast under the church tradition maybe good, but the so-called PMC breasting, PMC, Russian-made English, you know. English made in Russia. The PMC couples, some are still drinking or something like that, you know. This is the reason the education of the PMC couple is a very serious issue. This is true all over the world. Even in my country, the traditional breasting, especially for the PMC, is not so clear, because one is we have a huge financial responsibility. The entire movement is almost flat because of the huge responsibility, financial responsibility. You cannot imagine. For instance, when you breast, you have to offer the offering of gratitude for blessing. Do you know how much? At least $14,000 per person. Actually, maybe now rate is a little different. Maybe $13,000, something like that. Then between husband and wife, $26,000 must be offered. Do you think can you make it? It's a huge amount of money. Even PMC have to pay but a little less. Just this is one part of the financial responsibility. Just one part, partial. That's a suffering of Japanese movement. But anyway, that's okay. It's not you. Don't worry about that. It's not your responsibility. Don't worry. But anyway, that's why, because of these situations, actually, the leadership have no time to take care of the PMC couples. That's why the similar trouble is still happening. But nevertheless, the education of the breast family, PMC breast family, including the dedicated members, both are very necessary. That's why these contents must be clearly understood. How precious breasting is, how important breasting is, but also how terrible if the mistake might be. These kind of things must be clearly educated. That's your responsibility. Then must bring these breast couples, all breast couples, to the right situation, right standard. Otherwise, there will be no tradition in this country. That's why how to establish the tradition of the breast family is a really important issue for the sake of the future movement. If the breast family don't have the right providential principle, the standard, then all will be lost. That's why the living standard and also all kind of husband-wife relationship, how to raise children, and how to deal with the financial things, how to make offering or tradition, donation. At least how many percent is decided in Russia in terms of donation? Even Christian churches, 1/10, they're supposed to be offered. What's happening to Unification Church of Russia? Not so clear? Eh?
The principal's 1/10, but most of our members are core members who don't have any money.
Of course. That's I'm talking. PMC. Core members doing a lot of fundraising. That might be the. But this education of these people and come back to the right standard, the church attendance for education, and also financial responsibility, or some offering of time, the participation of activities. This kind of thing must be clearly stated and clearly organized, and these PMC, so-called PMC, should be one of the important work power, should become the work power, together with so-called full-time members. That must be the very important thing. And also for the so-called full-time members, sometimes some may think, I blessed in the 1992, and almost 3 years passed, and we are starting a family. Then now we can go somewhere and we can take a job, and somehow we have to be settled because the child will come. We have to take responsibility for that. That's why we need to establish our family foundation. Don't you have this kind of feeling? Isn't this kind of feeling prevailing? If this pattern goes, surely Russian movement will perish. I hope you can really understand the providential meaning of the blessed family and the providential meaning of the especially tribal messiahship. Sorry, this time I cannot explain these contents. But if you really understand the meaning of tribal messiahship, you will realize how stupid it is to go such a direction. Oh, now 3 years, that's why I need settlement, that's why must take a job, and prepare for the family life. This direction, you realize how stupid this idea would be. Because this kind of idea comes from the ignorance or lack of understanding of the true meaning of the tribal messiahship. Tribal messiahship is not such a thing. The most precious providence in the universe is the tribal messiahship. Just in case, if you can succeed in the tribal Messiah, first of all, this will be the fulfillment of your entire life. This is the only way by which you can fulfill the purpose of life. First time in the history of mankind. First time in the history of mankind. I cannot explain in detail, but anyway, as a conclusion, it's only by the tribal Messiah that you can fulfill the purpose of life. Not by becoming a church leaders, not by becoming the big shots in the movement, not by becoming the big, president of some company. These are nothing to do with the fulfillment of the purpose life. But it's only the tribal Messiah by which you can get into direct dominion of God, and you can fulfill 3 blessings while you are living in the flesh. And you will be living in heaven forever. This is only by the tribal messiahship. Nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. That's the only one answer is the tribal messiahship. At the same time, externally, if you can accomplish the tribal messiah, actually you will have enough manpower and financial resources, because you will have at least 160 blessed family under you as your own church member. I don't know the average income of Russian family. I don't know. I have no idea, exact idea. But even 1/10 of the income is offered. It's a huge amount of income. Of course, out of that income, you have to make offering to heaven as your own tribal church. But still, you will have enough financial foundation to live on. You can take care of your physical life, and you may have enough money for the education of your own children. Therefore, I really hope Russian movement doesn't make a mistake in this understanding. Now we are told that this is the age of completed Testament age, right? What's the most essential mission of the completed Testament age? What's the most fundamental responsibility of the completed Testament age? Do you know that? What is that? That's that tribal messiahship. That's it. If only you can accomplish it, the Russian movement will be the #1 movement in the world. Absolutely so. I'm not saying that you should go back to the hometown right now. I'm not saying that. Okay, don't misunderstand. But I hope you can soon, you can really understand the significance and the meaning of the tribal messiahship. It's a solution to everything. Not settling down somewhere by family is not the answer to save Russia. That's why you must be trained more, must dedicate more, and you should lead more public life, not private life. If you go into the private life, you go through you do the same mistake as Israelites. You know, when Israelites came back from Egypt, when they went over the Red Sea through such a miracle, they got excited. They really got excited. And if you read the Exodus of the Old Testament, chapter 15, you will see the Song of Moses. and sung a medium with such a gratitude for the God's guidance. And they went through a lot of tribulation in the wilderness. And finally, they went back to Canaan. But when they came back to Canaan, life in the Canaan wasn't so easy. Because the people who are living there in advance, so-called Cain world, was living happily and wealthy life because of the farming, agriculture. They had a lot of harvest, lot of crops, and rich life. But the Israelites who came back from Egypt didn't have anything. They didn't have technology. They didn't have technology. In other words, they didn't have even tool. They didn't have how to do the farming. They have no knowledge about agriculture. That's why they have to become students to the people who are living before, which is Cain. Cain's side became the teacher, and Abel's side, which means Israelites, became the students. Then this is, the god of, these Amalekites. They're called
False gods?
yeah.
False gods. Baal?
Yeah, Baal, Asherah. Then there's a god of agriculture, a god of harvest. God of harvest is actually a god of multiplication. It's a god of sexuality, sex. That's why fertility. That's why it's connected to the sexuality. That's why even temple prostitution was there. And even Israelites are involved in such a direction. And heavenly tradition was made mess. This is the reason Elijah rose up and fought. And tradition was lost. That's how became one of the main reasons why Jesus was crucified. What's the purpose of going back to Canaan? It was to prepare for the coming of the Messiah in Israel. And by receiving the Messiah, to build the kingdom of heaven centering on Canaan, centering on Israel. That's why kingdom of God, when Jesus came, kingdom of God is supposed to be built centering on Israel. But the Israelites lost that idea. And sank underneath the wealth of Canaanite and lost everything. That's why we shouldn't be like that. Therefore, don't lose the idea, purpose of this movement. We are here to build the kingdom of heaven. To build the kingdom of heaven in Russia. Not the settlement. That should be the clear understanding of your mission. That's why Dr. Suk, in my understanding, is asking for many members to become the church leaders, qualified church leaders. And at the same time, in the future, you should accomplish a tribal messiahship. Otherwise, Russian movement will have no hope. But with this kind of situation, understanding, Russian movement will shine in the world. Okay. Okay, thanks.